Hi there, and welcome to a new series of mine. The premise of this new series will be taking absurd vehicles, or just ordinary vehicles as we know it, and take them camping to see how practical they are to go camp with and just how practical they are off-road. For this first series we are taking this. This is my 2007 Subaru Impreza. So let the journey begin. We are now where the real adventure begins. We went through Ceres, we went up Heido Pass, we had quick breakfast on Oppieberg, and now we are here on the gravel road, and this leads over Katbakkies and categorized Pass. So quickly, I'm going to deflate the tires. These are Pirelli P7 tires, and Pirellis are a bit softer. They're also not the biggest profile tires as they are on a sports car. So I'm going to go to about 2 bar, see how 2 bar feels, and then maybe go to 1.8 lowest. I'm a bit uncertain what to run these at because they are such soft sidewall tires that they bulge very easily. I mean, they were at 2.5 bar and they already had like a little bulge on them. So we'll try 2 bar, see how the gravel road handles, but from here on out it's going to get very scenic. And like I said, the real challenge starts now. See how the car handles the gravel road and how practical it is. So let me do the last 3 tires and then hit the road. After deflating our tires, we headed off on the first leg of gravel roads. All the gravel roads we drove were pretty smooth. There were a few potholes and cattle grid sections here and there, but other than that, the gravel roads were in pretty good condition. We soon arrived at Katbakkies Pass. This pass is tarmac. However, it is very steep, but the Subaru powered through it without any issues. This segment of road is called Categorized Pass and is a very scenic drive as you look over the Tankwa Karoo. This road leads you all the way down to the Tankwa Karoo, and of course we had to make a quick pit stop at the Tankwa Padstall. From the Padstall, it wasn't a very far drive until we reached our campsite for the night. all the roads have been smooth up until this point. Because of the Tankwa floods of December 2022, Darby's driveway took a lot of damage. It has been repaired since, however it is still rocky with a few washouts here and there. So for a low sports car like this, we had to take it very slow and cautious just to protect the underside of the car. And of course, I had to test to see how much flex the Subaru has to offer. There was one more obstacle which lay between us and our night's campsite, and it was a shallow river crossing. Due to the low ground clearance of the Subaru, I just had to quickly go check to make sure there were no hidden rocks and just to make sure the depth of the water wasn't too deep. We made it. We made it to the campsite, no issues at all. But before I tell you more about the car, let me go give you a quick introduction to this campsite. So over here we have our vehicle on our right hand side. Let me get that right this time. We've got a little gazebo, a little teepee with a tent underneath already. So there is a tent with 2 single bed inside, and then you've got a little boma over here where you can put another tent or braai where out of the wind, shelter from the wind. Last time this tent wasn't here, so you could pitch your tent under that. Down over there is ablutions. So those are 2 hot showers and 2 bathrooms. You can camp anywhere around this facility. I'll get to that now. Here is the car. A little bit dirty, but nothing major. Let me show you. Most of the things are out. We've packed our camp. So there's some of our stuff in there. Here are these 2 things that I don't need. And then there's some stuff in the boot still left, which can probably stay in the boot. The wood I'm taking out now. There's 3 bags back there. And then a few things that can stay over here. So that is the pool over there. It is absolutely freezing, so we probably won't end up in there. And then this is the living area over here. You're supposed to pitch your tent outside, but we're the only people here, so she said we can pitch our tent inside here to help block from the wind, and it is fairly cold. So we've got all the seating arrangement here. We pitched our tent over here, nice under the cover, under the roof. Then on this side you have a bar area. There's a solar setup here, so you can use that fridge. There's a gas stove back there. Then you've got your pizza braai and a braai area with another thing over there, a teepee where you can put your tent under, and ablutions over here, shower and a gas toilet, a toilet and a gas shower. And then that is your view. I absolutely love this place. The view is incredible. I'm walking on like these seeds, so it's a bit noisy. But that is your view. Absolutely beautiful view. You have looking over the Tankwa, and we also have a view of the snow. Have a look at that. Sitting there looking at the snow over there. Very cool. I love this place. So that is Zwartkops Guest Farm. Absolutely love it here. It is very close to Ceres. You barely hit on the gravel road, and then you arrive here if you don't drive the road. We drove around on Katbakkies Pass. So if you come from Ceres straight in, it's about halfway to the padstall. You just get comfortable on the gravel road and then you are here. So I love this place. It's so peaceful. It's so quiet out here. Beautiful place to stay. There's also chalets, hiking routes. There's a private campsite down that way. So yeah, very nice. I highly recommend it. So let me tell you more about the vehicle behind me. This is my 2007 Subaru Impreza 2.0R. So this is my vehicle. This was the very first vehicle I had. And this is a 2-litre R. So it's not the STI or the WRX version, unfortunately and sadly. This is a non-turbo, so this is a EJ20, okay, I don't know what motor it is, but it's the Impreza motor, a flat 4 motor, but it's a non-turbo, it's an NA motor. Let me give you some history on this vehicle for those who haven't followed me since owning this vehicle. I don't post about it much, so some of you might not know it. Since I've had this vehicle, the engine has been opened 3 times. It started with the radiator that cracked, then the engine overheated, didn't heat seas, it just overheated, but still had to get the head skimmed. That didn't go well. At the first place we had it, second place we had it, didn't do a good job either, and then we had to do it a 3rd time because the second place that had it put the gasket in wrong, or they put a faulty gasket in, so it leaked air into the cooling system. After that, during this whole process, I also had it lifted. I had Forester shocks in it, so it's a straight swap with a Forester. You can put Forester shocks into an Impreza, and it lifted, gives a good amount of ground clearance. But then those shocks in the Tankwa, actually, I drove it, and then the shocks gave in, so I drove a lot of this Tankwa without any rear shocks, just on the coils. Then I just put in stock standard suspension again. So the car is basically back to stock, and I have upgraded radiator in there because the old one blew. Other than that, this car is basically stock. I have the little nudge bar on the front with the spotlights, which I mounted the MTEC antenna to. It's not attached to anything. I just wanted to see how it looks. It looks pretty cool. And then I also have a metal bash plate on the front. So that does help me in this scenario. I'm very impressed by the packing space in this vehicle. The boot is very big. I did pack all the basic camping equipment and a bit more, in fact, because I had all the space. And we are 2 people, so I still had to pack extra, so not just 1 person, 2 people's, everything is here. This is a all-wheel drive system. Subarus have all-wheel drive systems, so traction-wise, it is very good. I'm running Pirelli road tires, so it's very road-biased tires, or it is road tires, and Pirelli sidewalls are very soft, so I had to be cautious of that. I did deflate my tires to 2 bar, so I didn't want to go much lower than that, just in case the bulge is a bit too much and they get a sidewall cut on these rocks. But 2 bar was fine. So yeah, very impressed by the car. The roads all the way through were fine, a few cattle grid bits, but it handled it perfectly. The only place where we really had to slow down was coming into the farm. For those that know, that Tankwa flooded back in December now, a few months ago, and Zwartkops got hit very hard. The whole driveway, the road in got flooded. So they've rebuilt it, but it is a bit rocky. It was a bit trickier than the normal gravel roads, but I still made it. Once or twice I had a rock touch the bottom, but again, this is a sports car. It's very low. Your standard Polo and Quid will have bigger, higher ground clearance than this vehicle, and I made it here without an issue. While we're on this topic, let me tell you about this new series I'm starting, and this will be the first episode, using my own car as a test platform. But what I want to prove is that you don't need a kitted 4x4 to get to 85% of the campsites in South Africa. South Africans are very adventurous people. They want to get in the outdoors, they want to camp, they want to hike, they just want to be out in the bush. But a lot of them are limited, or thinking they are limited, by their vehicle. I get a lot of messages of people asking or saying that, oh, one day they'll join me, one day I have a 4x4, currently they only own a 4x2 Hilux, you name it. And I kind of want to prove to them that most vehicles can get to 85% of South African campsites. You don't need a big kitted 4x4. And this series will kind of prove my point. So we are out here in the Tankwa. We drove over Katbakkies Pass, through Ceres Pass, through the Tankwa. We were at the Tankwa Pass in a sports car. This is a sports car. It's very low. Your normal standard Polo and Quid and normal vehicles, passenger vehicles, will be more ground clearance than this. And I made it here. I'm here. So the whole series will go to all the unique vehicles I can go camp with. Let's have some fun. I want to prove where you can go with standard vehicles and what issues you might have. So there you have it. There's some information about this vehicle. Let me get the fire started. There's snow right over there on those mountains, so it is very cold sitting here at the moment. I need that fire to heat me up and to get our food cooking. So let's go get that fire on. The next morning, we woke up to a very cold and frosty Tankwa Karoo. After packing the final things in the boot and checking the tire pressure one last time, we set off, and soon we were back on the tarmac. There we go, that's the end to our trip. We've made it home. We went through the Tankwa, we went over Katbakkies, through Ceres Pass, through the Tankwa, Pass, had also night camping, and we're back home again. Let's chat about pros and cons about this vehicle and using it on a camping scene. So let's start off with boot space. This car has got a lot of boot space inside. With the 3 wood bags gone now, there's a lot more space in here, so I could stuff some stuff that was in the back seat, I can put it in here. And then another pro is the symmetrical, it's a difficult word to say, all-wheel drive system. So Subarus come with an all-wheel drive system, so all four wheels drive. In other words, it helps with mud and gravel terrain driving, and it's just a bit more convenient to have than just necessarily just a front or rear wheel drive vehicle. I think that's pretty much it that I can think of. Let's go to cons while I think about some more pros, but the cons are it's very low. Ground clearance on this car is extremely low. So it is a sports car after all. It's meant to go fast around corners, not to do what we did now. I think 2 or 3 times we touched the belly on the other side, but luckily this car has got a skid plate in the front, so that helps, and the little nudge bar helps for the front bumper when I'm going down some steep things. But the roads we drove were fairly straightforward and flat. It was only at Zwartkops where it was got a bit rocky and bumpy due to the floods in December, but regardless, we still got there. So that's not too bad. Another con is the fuel consumption. We averaged about 11 kilometers per litre, and it's not good for a 2-litre 4-cylinder. My Hilux, which is a 3-litre straight pipe with mud terrain, tyres and accessories on the roof, averages 10. So that's not a very good fuel consumption to have on a little 2-litre, which is basically aerodynamic and standard road tyres on it. Another con is the tyres. That is something you can change yourself. These are road bias tyres, and the Pirellis are very soft tyres. So luckily, touch wood, I don't have any more in the car, but luckily we didn't have any punctures. But I just wanted to warn everyone that watches this video and thinks, okay, let me take my car into the Tankwa, that R365, I think it's called, 356. So make sure your tire pressures are right, and don't go with what I said with 2-bar, it depends per tire. My mud terrain tires I run at 0.5 bar because they've got a harder sidewall, so they don't deflate as much. They don't make such a bulge, little bubble by the sidewall. Where these tires are soft and they got less profile, so I ran them at 2-bar and I was happy with it. But just a warning for everyone that wants to do that is that road is known to kill your tires. So I have got a tire repair kit over here behind me. It's good to have in the vehicle, but the risk of losing a tire on a standard vehicle on that road is much higher than a bakkie or a all-terrain tire or mud terrain tire, for example. So just a warning on that. I have to say the suspension on this car was very comfortable. Between us now, I'd probably say it's a bit more comfortable than the Hilux was. But again, it did bottom out once, I think, where we hit a bad hole. Cattle grid, it was fine. But other than that, and loading it, I mean, you can see how it sags with just me moving on it. So it can't carry a lot of weight. I already saw the backside drop a little by having all these things in, where with a bakkie, it's got harder suspension, you can carry a lot more load, and it can take a bigger impact better than this vehicle. Other than that, would I say the car's practical to camp with? Yes, I would. It's got good pros. The only thing is the ground clearance, which is the biggest issue on this vehicle, which I can raise. I have put Forest's suspension in, so you can lift that a little bit if you really need to, and the skid plate does help. But a lot of flat gravel roads, if I know how the conditions look there, then yes, it's got plenty of space inside. I can still put roof rails on the top to put things on the roof. And yeah, what can I say? We did it. We went camping with it. So yes, I think it can camp. I hope you guys like this video. There's plenty more to come in the series. Like I said, this is the first episode, which is kind of a bit of a tester to see how things go. And let me know what you guys thought about it. What do you think about this car out in the bush in the Tankwa where it doesn't belong, but it still did it? And with that, let's wrap up this video. Let me know what you think about this new series. Let me know what other cars you'd like to see. I have got some awesome things planned, so that will come regardless. There's many more videos to come in the series. But yeah, let me know what you think about this car in the comments, and what other cars you'd like to see, or where else you would like to see this car go. And then for now, I'll say goodbye. Cheers. I forgot to mention how much I enjoyed this trip. Taking a standard vehicle into the Tankwa just added an aspect of uncertainty. It added an aspect of adrenaline. The uncertainty of going around the corner not knowing if you'll be able to cross the river, or if there will be an obstacle in the way that you might struggle a bit more with. A standard 4x4 vehicle will be able to cross these roads we drove without any problems. The uncertainty aspect in the end made it a much more memorable experience.
Ons is sloot hier voor, nee?
Repair the engine, maintenance, service the engine. I can't get that word. Then secondly, it wasn't done right, so I had to do it again. And thirdly, the gasket they used at the second place